Donald Trump taps into American carnage as voting gets underway across the country. And is he getting policy ideas from a B-list Hollywood movie? Well, that's because what he is saying sounds like it was ripped from the pages of The Purge. It's a movie franchise, but here it is.
Business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have it's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know?
One day of whatever you want, I guess. It is a literal movie plot, but real life policy?
Well, it's not policy. And this is red meat for the base because they don't ask questions about, well, how would you do this and how would this work? It's just red meat, and I think it works for the base. But it reminded me of The Purge first, and then it reminded me more of The Hunger Games, where the ruling class puts a bunch of people together every year and says, you guys kill each other, to show control and instill fear in an electorate, in the citizenry, if we're comparing movies. But this is real life. And this is the kind of thing that turns off the people he needs to win. People in swing states who are undecided, who want to hear policy solutions, not stuff like this.
I mean, but in all seriousness, Congressman, I mean, is he suggesting that cops can do whatever they want for a day and that will actually solve the problem?
No, he's not. And even the clip you just played, what's it, 5 seconds out of, for Donald Trump, an hour speech? I think a lot of times people say, oh, well, he said this. For 5 seconds, yes, he says things that are unscripted. He goes off the cuff. He's not serious. There's no policy behind that. But I think where the American people truly are is they at least want to hear what somebody is thinking full-throated versus Kamala Harris, who is completely scripted, like badly scripted.
I guess I wonder,
and there's nothing coming out of her.
What is the policy then? If it's not that, then what is actually the solution?
He wants to make sure that police are supported so they're upholding the law. In every city in our country, I was in Duane Reade last night here in New York, just trying to get razor blades so I can get a fresh shave for today. I had to press the button for the attendant to come to open up the case just so I can get a pack of razor blades. That's what's going on in every major city of America. Americans are fed up with that kind of stuff. It happens because you do have a dereliction of support for law enforcement in too many cities in America. And so there's a major angst going on amongst the American people. Donald Trump said a comment for 5 seconds. That's not setting policy. That's revealing the angst of the American people.
Donald Trump has a history of saying inflammatory things. It's not just those 5 seconds, Congressman, and you know that. He has a history that goes back from the time when he first ran for office, and he's talked about telling people in his rallies to knock the crap out of him. He had a history, even when I was working here at CNN, he was telling people how CNN is the enemy of the people. And you know what? A guy named Cesar Sayoc sent pipe bombs to this building, or not to the other building that CNN used to be in, and tried to kill people. Donald Trump says things that get people hurt. When he talked about liberating Michigan, what happened? Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, they tried to kidnap her. There's a plot to try to kidnap her. Every time he says something that's just 5 seconds, inflammatory statements like that, what happened when we have January 6th? It's because Donald Trump opened his big mouth and wouldn't shut up. And I wish at some point, Congressman, you would at least have the courage to stand up to your dear leader and tell him when he's doing wrong.
Are we going to talk
now
about the rhetoric?
Don't just apologize for him.
Are we going to talk about the rhetoric directed at Donald Trump? Because we do realize that he's been trying to kill.
Are you going to continue to try not to answer the question? So you're not going to answer what I just said?
Hang on one second. Let's talk about that. Let's actually talk about rhetoric, because here's what Trump supporters have been saying.
People hear this violent, dangerous rhetoric, and we're going to have a copycat. It's coming. And it's just unfortunate. Somebody's going to get killed.
I'd say that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric and needs to cut this crap out. Somebody's going to get hurt by it.
It works when we see the liberal elite literally trying to take out a political opponent. Now, do they cause it? Absolutely, they contribute to it. They're complicit with it because of their words.
So according to those gentlemen there, saying that Trump is a threat to democracy is violent rhetoric, but Trump saying, let's just have one really violent day, that is not violent rhetoric?
No, he didn't say one violent day. That's not even what he said. Well, let's be honest about what he actually said.
Can we play
it again.
Trump
Play it again because he didn't even say that. But go ahead.
Can we play it again?
I want to hear it.
All these stores go out of business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know?
How is that not violent rhetoric?
We have to acknowledge the reality going on in every city in America.
Not answering the question.
Crime is mass.
Not answering the question.
That is answering the question
How
because
is
the
it-
reality in America, hold on, Keith, the reality in America is that crime is massively up. It
Crime
so-
is not massively
Yes,
up.
it
That's
is.
a
You
lie.
can bang the table all you want, but
You're
that's not
lying,
true,
Congressman.
Keith.
You're lying.
We
The
already know
FBI
that there are
the
cities-
FBI just
Let me get
released
in
data
there.
this week
You
that crime
already-
is going
you
down.
already know that.
Oh my God! Why do you, Abby? Why do you let this man lie on your national
I'm
national
not
television
lying.
like
I'm telling you the
this?
exact
This is
truth.
not right.
You may not
You're a
want.
liar,
You may not.
Congressman.
No, I am
You're
not.
lying.
Because you're lying to the American
Keith,
people
if
now.
you would let
and
me
so I want to be
talk,
respectful of what you're
Congressman,
trying to say.
Hang on a second.
Go
If you
ahead.
would just let me
Go ahead.
talk, I will explain exactly what you want me to explain. We have the data. The FBI literally put out data today showing that crime is down this year for the first 6 months of the year. But look at the trend line. Okay, crime is down in all these different categories, and then there is a trend line that shows that crime is going down. So why do you continue to say that?
I do think, though, in some
I'll
places.
let you get in, but I do want the congressman to answer that question.
Please.
If you look at crime rates in the United States since the pandemic to this current point, this current period in time, crime is up.
Okay,
Year
look at
over
the
the
chart. We're
years,
gonna put it
crime
up.
is up.
Congressman,
Violent crime
Look at
is
the
up.
Look at the chart.
I'm looking right now.
Okay?
I'm looking right now.
Crime is on its way down. It has not returned to pre-pandemic levels yet, but it is trending down.
Well,
That is a
I'm
fact.
looking at your chart right now. 2021 is when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office. Look at that spike up in violent crime. What Donald Trump.
Do you
hold on,
see
Abby,
where?
but this
Do you
isn't-
see where it went after
Abby,
2021?
Abby,
it is
this is
going
important. This is important. But
I don't
You
understand
know
why
what
you're
This
doing
is
that.
really
you're-
important.
No,
If
crime,
you
is,
want-
crime is going down. And
Put the chart back
and
up.
it-
Put the chart back up.
Put it back up. Crime.
Look at
where it's going.
2021,
Look,
which
this
is when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office in 2021.
Okay.
The
You know
trend
what?
line is up for violent crime in the United States of America.
And you know what?
That is
Hang
an
on.
empirical
Hang
fact.
I'm not going to sit
That's
here
your
and let
chart.
this
It's not even
man-
mine.
and
I
let
just
this
saw it for
man
the first
lie
time.
all night on
I just saw the
television.
chart.
I'm not
Congressman.
going to sit here and let him lie on
But I
television.
want to.
No. Wait one second, because we
This is
have
silly.
to. Hold on.
It's not silly when people,
We have
when
to,
stores,
Congressman,
and I'm sorry,
just give
and
me
I'm
1
sorry,
second,
Abby.
please.
Go ahead, of course.
We have to
absolutely.
deal in facts here.
Thank you.
Okay, it's clear as day. The FBI put out statistics for the first half of this year.
Yeah.
The numbers, the trend lines are going down in all of those different categories: murders, rapes, robberies, property crime, aggravated assaults. For 2023, the trend line is going down. If you don't believe the FBI, independent people who look at these numbers say the same thing. There was a spike in crime during the pandemic. That is true. Nobody's disputing that. But the reality is that crime is going down. You don't have to twist the facts to make the case that people feel unsafe. Just say people feel
Abby,
unsafe.
I'm not even twisting the facts. You put up a chart. I just looked at the chart myself. The bottom line was from 2021. Well, what happened in 2021? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office. This is when Democrat politicians were all the rage for defund the police.
This had nothing to do with that.
Can I finish my
All right,
point, Keith? Because
I
I'll
wanna
let you
move-
speak. No, but you
He
can't.
really
but
did
you
not.
can't
You
move on
monopolized the
because-
entire conversation for the most part. I
Keith,
spoke
you
for a
yelled across
minute.
the table, didn't even let
Because
me make
you
my
lied.
point. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. You don't want to hear the
All
truth.
right.
That's the problem.
The
Let me
truth is
let
up
you
there on the
finish
screen,
your
problem is you don't wanna hear the
Congressman.
Let me
truth.
let you
Truth is on the
finish your
screen,
thought,
Congressman.
Congressman, and then we're going to move on because Scott needs to get in.
I don't even know why you have him on the stage tonight.
Similar to inflation, because I'm bringing facts to you.
Because you're lying.
Because similar
Keith, just
to
give me a
inflation,
second, please.
in 2024, the trend lines are coming down slowly. But that ignores the reality of 2021, 2022, 2023. You know what the American people are concerned about, which Donald Trump is speaking to? Massive inflation brought to us by Joe Biden and Kamala
Not
Harris.
true.
It is very
Not
true.
true.
Even Larry Summers said it. You can
Not
interrupt
true.
all you want, but it's the facts. I was in the House. You were not. I know exactly what
I know
happened.
what you were doing in the House,
But again, I'm going to move
Keith,
on. Hang
please let him
tight, Keith.
finish.
I'm going to finish.
Thank you.
You have massive inflation created by Joe Biden and Kamala
Not
Harris.
true.
The same chart you just put up, 2021 through 2023, crime rates going up, and then slowly tapering off in 2024. And then we're supposed to sit here and act like, oh, happy days are here again because the trend lines are going down. The trend lines over the last 4 years are massively up. That's what Donald Trump
Okay.
is speaking to,
crime
and
is-
that's
crime
why
is
the
at
American
historic-
people
We're going
have
to move
serious
on from
issues
this
about what's going on in
conversation,
America.
But I will say this. The trend lines are not just going down, but the crime is going back to very close to what it was before the pandemic.